Hey everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you're new here, please subscribe. I'd really love that if you're returning. How you doing today? If you haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, please do so. Get a hold of me and Trish, okay? And we'll get you set up with the newsletter. October's already rolled out, but you can still get October's. You can still get September's, okay? And we're working on November's. November's is going to be badass. So anyway, during February, oh my, is that an omen? Anyway, listen. During Friday's Night Live, we spoke about where our country is headed and timelines and Venezuela. And we also titled the Friday Night Live as "Welcome to Venezuela." Okay. So, what today's video is going to be about is the Venezuela's profile and timeline. Okay. Because I think that it's extremely important that we know what the timeline is, Venezuela's timeline, that is, excuse me, and to see if we can pinpoint, learn from, and know the history, to see if there's anything in there that we can narrow down and say, okay, that's it. That's where we are. You see what I mean? Okay. So now this timeline that I have right here is detailed. And there's also other things that we're going to be talking about, okay, that has to do with Venezuela. All right. So you know me. Right? Grab your coffee. Possibly, I don't know, chocolate, maybe pie, ice cream, whipped cream, anything, you know, because this is probably going to be stressful for all of us. So here we go. Okay. So this is a chronologically of key events. Okay. Now this goes all the way back to the 1500s. I know, but this is how important this is, okay? In 1521, Spanish colonization begins. Now, it jumps to 1749. First rebellion against Spanish colonial rule. Then it jumps to 1810. Venezuelans take advantage of Napoleon's invasion of Spain to declare independence. 1829 to 1830, Venezuela succeeds from Gran Colombia. Okay. Then 1870 to 1888, ruler Antonio Guzman Blanco attracts foreign investment, modernizes infrastructure, and develops agricultural and education. Then in 1908 to 1935, under dictator Juan Vicente Gomez, Venezuela becomes world's largest oil exporter. 1945, a coup establishes the civilian government under decades of military rule. 1948, President Romulo Gallegos, Gallegos, Venezuela's first democratically elected leader, overthrown within 8 months of military coup led by Marcos Perez Jimenez. Now, 1958, and this is actually labeled democratic rule, okay? So I want you to see what I'm reading. You see how it says democratic rule, okay? Yeah. 1958. Admiral Wolfgang Larrazabal, and that's Larrazabal, ousts Marcos Perez Jimenez. Leftist Romulo Bentoncourt of the Democratic Action Party, or AD, wins presidential election. 1973. Venezuela benefits from oil boom, and its currency peaks against the US dollar. Oil and steel industries nationalized. 1989. Carlos Andres Perez, AD, elected president amid economic depression, launches austerity program with IMF loan. Riots, martial law, and general strike follow, with hundreds killed in street violence. 1992. Colonel Hugo Chavez and supporters make 2 coup attempts. Some 120 people killed in suppression of coups. Colonel Chavez jailed for 2 years before being pardoned. 1993 to 1995. President Perez impeached on corruption charges. Now, as I'm going through this, if there's anything that you hear that is sounding any kind of familiarity, comment. Because when I tell you, I'm already seeing it. The familiar, you know what I mean? So, the next thing is titled The Rise of Chavez. 1998. Hugo Chavez, elected president, and disenchantment with established parties, launches Bolivarian revolution that brings in new constitution, socialist and populist economic and social policies funded by high oil prices, alongside increasingly anti-U.S. foreign policy. 2001. President Chavez uses Enabling Act to pass laws aimed at redistributing land and wealth. Concern grows in business and some labor circles that he is trying to concentrate economic and political power. 2002. April. Armed forces rebel over a violent standoff between government and state oil monopoly after appointment of new board. President Chavez taken into military custody, but interim government of business leader Pedro Carmona collapses and Hugo Chavez returns to office. 2005, January. President Chavez, no stormy, signs decree on land reform to eliminate Venezuela's largest estates and benefit rural poor. Ranchers say move is attack on private property. 2005, March. New media regulations provide stiff fines and prison terms for slandering public figures. 2005, December. Parties loyal to President Chavez dominate parliament after opposition parties boycott election. Now, next one is titled Russian Alliance. 2006, July. President Chavez signs a 3BN, well, that's, arms deal with Russia, including an agreement to buy fighter jets and helicopters, marking a reorientation away from U.S. arms supply. 2006, December. Hugo Chavez wins a third term in presidential elections with 63% of the vote, the largest margin since the 1947 election. 2007, January. President Chavez announces key energy and telecommunications companies will be nationalized under 18-month Enabling Act approved by the Parliament. 2007, June. 2 leading U.S. oil companies, ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, refused to hand over majority control of their operations to the Orinoco Belt to the Venezuelan government, which then expropriates them sometimes. 2007 December. President Chavez suffers his first defeat at the ballot box when a referendum narrowly rejects proposals to increase government control over the central bank and the power to expropriate properties. 2008 September. Venezuela and Russia sign oil and gas cooperation accord. Russian warplanes visit Venezuela, with Russian warships heading there for November joint exercises. First return of Russian Navy to Americas since the Cold War. 2008 October. First Venezuelan telecommunications satellite launch from China. 2009 February. Voters in a referendum approved plans to abolish limits on the number of terms in office for elected officials. This allows President Chavez to stand again with his terms expires in 2012. This guy. Now the next one is titled Economic Problems. So here we go. 2010, January. President Chavez devalues the Bolivar currency to boost revenue from oil exports after economy shrank 5.8% in the last quarter of 2009. 2010 September. Parliamentary elections. Opposition makes significant gains. 2012 April. Government extends price controls on more basic goods in the battle against inflation. President Chavez threatens to expropriate companies that do not comply with the price controls. 2012 July. After a 6-year wait, Venezuela becomes a full member of the regional trading bloc Mercosur, and that's MERCOSUR, and is given 4 years to comply with the bloc's trading regulations. 2012 October. President Chavez wins a 4th term in office. How is this freaking possible with this guy? Okay, now this one's titled President Chavez Dies. 2013 April. President Hugo Chavez dies at age 58 in March after a battle with cancer. Nicolas Maduro, his chosen successor, is elected president by a narrow margin. The opposition contests the results. 2014, February to March. At least 28 people die in suppression of anti-government protests. 2014, November. Government announces cuts in public spending as oil prices reach a 4-year low. 2015, December. Opposition Democratic Unity Coalition wins 2/3 majority in parliamentary elections, ending 16 years of Socialist Party control. 2016, September. Hundreds of thousands of people take part in a protest in Caracas, calling for the removal of President Maduro, accusing him of responsibility for the economic crisis. 2017, July. Controversial Constituent Assembly elected in the face of an opposition boycott and an international condemnation. 2018, May. Opposition contests the official victory of President Maduro at presidential elections. 2018, August. UN says 2 million Venezuelans have fled abroad to neighboring countries since 2014. 2019, January and February. Opposition leader Juan Guaido, and that's Guaido, declares himself interim president. You can't just declare yourself. What the heck? Well, anyway. Interim president appeals to military to oust President Maduro on the grounds that the 2018 election was rigged. European Union, United States, and most Latin American countries recognize Mr. Guaido. 2020 December. Opposition boycotts legislative elections, which are duly won by President Maduro's party and allies. Oh boy. All right. I'm going to see if I can fit these other two in. This article is very long. We'll have to, that article will have to be another video. Let me see. Yeah, same with this one. All right. I will be making like one more video or maybe two more videos based on Venezuela. Okay, so think about this timeline. Okay, and then we'll do, I'm going to start the Great Depression series, okay, and I've got some other stuff that I really want to get out there to you guys, okay. There's a lot to discuss here, guys, a lot, because we're seeing things that, we're seeing a lot, all right. All right, I love you. I'll see you in the next one. You stay safe, you stay positive, you keep prepping. And as always, fearless. Ciao.